Hey guys, I'm John. I've got my Oscar nominations. I've been paying close attention to the Gold Derby website, as well as Award Circuit, IndieWire, a lot of videos and blogs and talks about this year's movie contenders. I think we've got a good list this year. The Golden Globes are coming in 5 days, which means a lot of buzz about the Oscars, and so I just decided to do this list. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all my lists, with the exception of like the small things like best short and stuff like that, and best like sound editing. So I'll leave it to the main categories. So for best picture, I have Boyhood winning, Birdman, The Imitation Game, The Theory of Everything, Gone Girl, Selma, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Whiplash, Foxcatcher, and Nightcrawler. And the reason I don't have Unbroken in there is because it totally lost its footing. You see that with the SAG Awards, the Golden Globe Awards, the PGAs, all overlooking the Unbroken movie. I think because of that, and because I honestly wasn't a great fan of Unbroken, I thought it was okay. I thought the pacing was very awkward, and kind of it didn't really have. I mean, it didn't really have a direction. I mean, Angelina, I think, did a great job. Whatever. But I think that I wasn't sure if I was watching a defeatist, like a defeatist movie, or a triumphant movie. It was hard to watch, but it was like, it was just a big question mark to me. I didn't really know what I was watching. So I didn't have it in there. So for Nightcrawler, I have, because American Sniper doesn't have that much of a really doesn't have that much of a oomph in terms of like Oscar contender fire. In terms of, I mean, in comparison to Nightcrawler, you have Jake Gyllenhaal there supporting the movie, and you also have Nightcrawler getting in the list on PGAs, also with American Sniper. But still, you have Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal, and also it's in there with the AFI list, also with American Sniper. But I do think that because of Jake Gyllenhaal and the fire behind that, I do think that Nightcrawler has a chance. That being said, I don't think it'll be top 10. I think it'll be top 9. Because if Nightcrawler is nominated, I don't think it'll be nominated anywhere else. I think it'll be just Best Picture, and that's it. I don't think that's enough. So I do think it's going to be top 9. Selma's in the middle because, as we all know, it was shut out by the SAGs, which is shocking. Some people say that the editing was late, and because of that, not a lot of people saw the movie, which makes sense. So I don't really know where Selma sits. We'll see. Best Director, I have Richard Linklater from Boyhood, Alejandro González Iñárritu with Birdman, Ava DuVernay with Selma, David Fincher with Gone Girl, and Wes Anderson with Grand Budapest Hotel. I was very close to having Morton Tilden in there with The Imitation Game, just because it's such a well-directed movie and a very strong force. I do think that Ava needs to be in there for historic purposes, and also she did great work. David Fincher is in there just because the Academy loves him. You know, he's done great work with The Social Network in the past, and also, as we all know, the Fight Club and Seven and all those kind of things. Even though he wasn't nominated by the Academy for that, I think that because of that, and because he did such great work in The Social Network, this is Academy's way of saying, all right, you can get back in the game, David Fincher. Like, it's, you know, it's not yours to lose just, 3 years ago. So, because of that, I think David Fincher's going to get back in the race. That being said, I think that Wes Anderson is going to come in 5th place just because he's done such a great job with his latest movie. The Oscars really hasn't looked wonderfully upon Wes Anderson's movies. We saw that with Moonrise Kingdom, which was a huge Oscar contender and got jack shit except for screenplay. So I think that Wes Anderson's going to come back, take the reins with The Grand Budapest Hotel, as it's been on every nominations list to date, and I think it's going to get back in there with Wes Anderson. This is his time to get a nomination, at least. For Best Actor, I have Michael Keaton from Birdman, Eddie Redmayne from The Theory of Everything, Benedict Cumberbatch from The Imitation Game, David Oyelowo, is that right? Yeah, from Selma. I never know how to pronounce his last name. And Steve Carell from Foxcatcher. I think the rest speak for themselves. Steve Carell is kind of on a limb here. He's been back and forth with a lot of different people. Jake Gyllenhaal definitely seems to be in the race versus Dave Carell, and I think that Jake Gyllenhaal will get shut out just because Foxcatcher is a stronger force in terms of movie, as movie goes. I think Golden Globes, yeah, they shared it, whatever, that's great. But I think that when it comes to the time for the awards, Steve Carell has more fire than Jake Gyllenhaal does, and I think that his movie has more fire than Nightcrawler. So because of that, I think Carell's going to get the nomination. For Best Actress, I have Julianne Moore, still Alice, of course. She did a fantastic job. I just think it's funny that she seems to be a lock, and everyone tries to debate Reese Witherspoon winning, and I think it's just a joke. Julianne Moore is going to win. Everyone knows it. It's another Cate Blanchett. Anyway, sorry. Reese Witherspoon for Wild, Jennifer Aniston for Cake, Rosamund Pike for Gone Girl, Felicity Jones for The Theory of Everything. Sorry, I just got a text. I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, so I have Julianne Moore winning, of course. I think it's done deal. People that haven't even saw the movie are still going to vote for Julianne Moore, as we see with Tom O'Neill's spiels about the Oscars. It's a lock, and I think that Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon are in close second/third. Jennifer Aniston really climbed the ladder with recent Golden Globe nods, and because of that, I think that Jennifer Aniston has a lot of sympathy with a lot of different voters, being on Friends and now in crappy movies, but then suddenly coming back with Cake kind of gives Jennifer Aniston a boost. Best Supporting Actor, I have J.K. Simmons from Whiplash, which again is another lock. Edward Norton from Birdman, Ethan Hawke from Boyhood, Mark Ruffalo from Foxcatcher, and Robert Duvall from The Judge. I think it's silly that people try to argue Edward Norton. It's not going to happen. He's going to be a very close second, but it's not going to happen. J.K. Simmons just simply is astonishing, and on top of that has the most fire, and has been continuously getting in awards and racking in those awards. For Best Supporting Actress, I have Patricia Arquette from Boyhood, Meryl Streep from Into the Woods, Emma Stone from Birdman, Keira Knightley from The Imitation Game, and Laura Dern from Wild. I think Patricia Arquette obviously is a lock. Some people think Meryl Streep will win. I disagree, just because I think that Meryl Streep, it's not her year to tie with Katharine Hepburn. I think she needs to win in a lead actress category. I think it needs to be a non-Disney movie, and I think it needs to be a stronger force. Seeing Meryl Streep win for a movie that probably isn't going to get a Best Picture nom is silly, and I think that she has her time. Meryl Streep will get her time. Just give it some space. And I even think that if Meryl Streep doesn't win, Meryl Streep is going to want to get that tying Oscar with something else. I think Patricia Arquette definitely deserves it this year, so I think that Meryl Streep just needs to wait and let Patricia Arquette take the Oscar here. I do have Laura Dern in there just because I think that Jessica Chastain, it's tough. I think I'm going out on a limb putting Laura Dern in there. A lot of people think that Jessica Chastain will win, but I think that Wild already has a stronger footing with having Reese Witherspoon in Best Writing. Excuse me, I burped. Excuse me. So I already think that Laura Dern has it in there with Reese Witherspoon in Best Writing contenders. And because of that, I think that Laura Dern will join Reese in that race. Best Original Screenplay, I have Boyhood, Birdman, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Foxcatcher, and Selma. The reason I don't have Whiplash in there is because Whiplash had to change direction. I don't know if you read any articles recently, but Whiplash is considered Best Adapted Screenplay contender because there was a short film that Whiplash was based on, and because of that, it's considered adapted, which I think is bold, but apparently it was the same thing with, what was it? The Dances with Wolves, I think? I'm not sure. So, I have it in the other category. So for this one, I think that Selma holds it up there. I have Boyhood winning just because it's a better script and it already has Best Picture reigns. Adapted screenplay, I have Gone Girl, The Imitation Game, The Theory of Everything, Whiplash, and Unbroken. Unbroken because it needs something. Whiplash because it's already a strong contender. Gone Girl is in the running with The Imitation Game. I'm not really sure what will happen here. I kind of have those interchangeable for me. I do think that Gone Girl is commercially more of a success than any adaptation of The Imitation Game, and because of that, I think a lot of people will be happy with Gone Girl winning. I think it's the popular vote. So I'm going to say Gone Girl on that one. Best Animated Feature, I have The Lego Movie, Big Hero 6, How to Train Your Dragon 2, The Box Trolls, and The Tale of Princess Kaguya. The reason I don't have The Book of Life in there is because it's just too quirky. It kind of just comes out of nowhere and earns a lot of nominations, and it's always in last place in my opinion. But I think that when it comes to the Oscars, you're gonna see less of a commercial success and more of an art house production representation. Studio Ghibli's always in there. They're always a runner-up, and they are always rooting for Studio Ghibli, which right now is holding hands with Disney. And because of that, you have a stronger force pushing Studio Ghibli into a commercial success now that Miyazaki has left. Miyazaki was the head of Studio Ghibli and the lead creator team, and The Wind Rises was his last film. And now that he's gone, Disney doesn't really have much left to do with Studio Ghibli, and I think that pushing The Tale of the Princess Kaguya into that category is going to boost Studio Ghibli's pairing with Disney, and therefore making it a stronger company. And also, the Academy's always suckers for these art house productions. I just think it's time for someone else in Studio Ghibli to step up and take that nom. And I think that this is a perfect time to do it now that The Wind Rises just ended. Best Foreign Film, I have Ida, Force Majeure, Leviathan, Wild Tales, and Timbuktu. I don't really know much about these noms. I just know that Ida and Force Majeure, and Leviathan are in the leads, so obviously I think that Ida's going to take it just because it's the popular vote. For Best Score, I have The Theory of Everything, Interstellar, The Imitation Game, Gone Girl, and Unbroken. I think that Johan Johansson has a lot of fire behind him, as everyone says, and that Interstellar has Hans Zimmer. That's really the only thinking behind my noms. For best song, I have Glory from Selma, Everything is Awesome from the Lego Movie, Lost Stars from Begin Again, Split the Difference from Boyhood, and Mercy Is from Noah. I do have Glory winning, just because again it has the most fire, and Everything is Awesome keeps getting a lot of fire because it wasn't nominated for, I think, the Golden Globes. I think it was shut out, and a lot of people were angry, and I think because of that the Academy wants to correct the Golden Globes. I do have Split the Difference in there from Boyhood, just because wherever Boyhood can grab a nomination, I think that they will. And the fact that Boyhood is already in the running for Best Original Song makes a strong enough opinion for those people jacking off to Boyhood, wanting to get it into nominations just to do it, just to see their Best Picture get another nomination and say, "Yay, Boyhood!" So I think those critics will be happy to see that nominated. I think that's it. I mean, really, the only other thing to talk about is Best Documentary, but I think everyone knows that Citizen4 is going to win that, so I don't think there's really much to talk about there. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Is there anything that you want me to hear talk about more? My reasoning behind any of my choices? like or comment below, and I will see you on the 11th and then the Oscars. Take care.